over stashed cash, as Governor Obaseki describes Naira redesign as politically motivated. I'm hanging out with Adekunle Yusuf. Kunle, I greet you. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
And of course, I also have here the Rivers lady, Ibenabo Dixon. I greet you, Ibenabo.
Good evening, citizen.
All right. So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, our first story. Frontline International Airlines, Emirates, has suspended flight operations to this country, Nigeria, over its inability to repatriate funds trapped in the country. The suspension took effect from October 29th and has to do with some $86 million revenue. You want to know that the foreign airlines, we should mention, have been struggling to retire their earnings from ticket sales, grossing some $500 million. Now, the federal government had released $265 million to meet the shortfall owing to the foreign exchange crisis being experienced here. Now, these are indeed very trying times for the airlines on the one hand, Yusuf, and for the travelers on the other.
Yes, and when you look at the aviation industry generally, especially in our country, it is an industry that is highly challenged now. So this is not the first airline to suspend its operations in Nigeria. Some have done that in the past, and some even gave, notices. Some suspended partially, some reduced.
Except that for Emirates, this appears to be the second time.
Yes, and it said it is indefinite. And the truth is, the Forex crisis, Nigeria is facing, this is one of the fallouts of that crisis.
Yeah.
The airlines are able to repatriate their cash, and that makes it difficult operationally, for operational activities of the airlines. Then, too, many travelers, you want to book, they do all these things majorly in dollars. You get my point? The international.
That's because your Naira is very weak.
Well, the Naira is becoming weaker and weaker every day. And it's a fact that all of us know. So we don't have to pretend about it.
Yeah.
But this business is transacted in dollars. These are international airlines. So when they are unable to repatriate their money, so it has a lot of negative effects on their business activities. Of course, the government is not folding its arm, just, looking on concern. No, when you see a lot of efforts on the part of the CBN, but the truth is that cash, that money is not there. Nigeria doesn't have it. So engagements upon engagements, meetings upon meetings. Okay, let's do staggered, repatriation. You have this today, you have that today. Unfortunately, some of these, measures are unable to help the airlines because they are businesses, and you know what the businesses do. They are in business to make money, and the moment that is becoming increasingly impossible, they take drastic decisions.
Ibenabo, as we said at the beginning, trying times also for the traveler. So you are going to have a backlog and horrible fallouts.
It's very unfortunate because an obligation is owed, but a gift is unearned. It is their money. They should be paid. If you run an airline, business, you know that everything that has to do with it is done in foreign exchange.
Yeah.
Maintenance of it, payments of salaries. I'm looking at 90% of the activities will be done in foreign exchange, and they are not paid. Now, when I saw this story, what came to my mind was we are in the 36th year of currency devaluation since 1986, structural adjustment program. We are still trying to adjust in 2022. So, you know, when our mainstay is not even properly handled, then how do you get the dollars?
Yeah.
Because we don't export.
You don't produce.
We don't produce. So, I mean, it's no rocket science that we'll be in this situation at this time. And I don't.
So see, it's not a question of you praying for a particular period of time just to prop the economy up.
Our leaders have to be very deliberate about it. If they are not, there's going to be a recycling of situations like this. That's the truth.
Particularly, I'm wondering, at a time like this, don't you think you are missing a Nigerian carrier, you know, Air Nigeria, or Nigeria Air, or whatever name they call it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We may like to embark on another journey towards what we love to call white elephant project. You get my point? Whoever is telling you that because it is easy to establish a business, but when you look at the culture around our public officers, you get my point? Because when you do a Nigerian airline, tell me one business the federal government or any state government has done successfully.
May I tell you one?
I'm coming. Let me land.
You're asking me to tell you.
You tell me. Okay. You will see, look at the biggest opportunity for Nigeria to make money, cash, dollar, is in petroleum, crude.
Oh, yeah.
What do we do with it? Those in powers, the powers that be, messed up that sector. Today, all our refineries are technically dead. So we have what God has blessed us with, but we take it from here and go abroad. They could call it swapping. At the end of the day, what should fetch us, dollars? What do we do? That's stage one. Stage two, the bulk of this God-given, asset is stolen. Believe me, we are not saying 20%, 30%, as high as 85% of Nigeria crude is stolen. And the facts are there.
The NNPC told us it will.
Forget whatever NNPC or any security agencies are saying. They are all culpable because you and I cannot steal crude. This is done by top-placed, Nigerians, be it in the security agencies, be it in, government, be it in all.
Don't let us twist the discussion.
So they are all involved. So when the easiest opportunity for us to make, money through dollars, I mean, to enhance our forex, capability, we messed it up. Do you know? Today,
I thought you were going to talk about Russia-Ukraine crisis. OPEC countries are known to be making money, except us.
All the countries in the world that are blessed with, are smiling to the banks
except
now.
Nigeria.
Except Nigeria. This is the time we should actually be rejoicing. But because we have leaders who don't know what is right or who don't like to do what is right. And at the end of the day, these are some of the effects of what we are talking about. And when you look at the way Nigeria makes...
It has to do with the choices we make as people.
If you look at the way we make...
Sorry, Festus wants to join the conversation. Festus is in Lagos. Good evening to you, Festus. Welcome.
That's just my contribution. They should let the government pay the balance.
Are we in business, Festus?
So we pray for them and let them start their flight operation.
I don't think we're in business. It has to do with the choices Nigeria will make at a time like this.
Yes. We have always been making the wrong choices. And I think that those wrong choices are deliberate.
You think so, or
yes,
you know so?
I mean, looking at what we have on ground.
Okay.
Why are we an oil-producing nation and we end up exporting finished products? And even exporting the finished products, what I ask myself is, what if crude oil wasn't there? How would we have survived?
All right. Let the debate continue, but the story is simply this, that Emirates Airlines, one of the established world-class airlines, has some of its monies here trapped, and Nigeria has got to find answers to the problem. Okay, to the next story. You know, for the embattled leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, the question of his freedom is headed for the Supreme Court. Recall that the appeal court in Abuja had stayed the execution of its earlier order, acquitting him of all charges and directing his release from custody. Kanu has been in the DSS custody since his arrest and extradition from Kenya in June 2021. Now, the late father of modern India, Mahatma Gandhi, said, quote, "Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes, Binabo."
Very true. As a human being, you are liable to make mistakes. And that mistake that you have made shouldn't swallow you if you are ready to make amends. What I would just say at this point is that I want to plead with the federal government that they should not make any mistake with the issues surrounding Nnamdi Kanu.
Yeah.
It is becoming so volatile that the least mistake made concerning this man would rock the nation.
Might be tendentious.
Honestly, we have to be very mindful. And we should work within the ambit of the law. The law should be known to be a yes for a yes and a no for a no, and not a back and forth thing.
Yeah. Adekunle, one of the underpinning requirements for a healthy democracy is respect for rule of law. So Nnamdi Kanu is headed for the apex court. If he gets judgment and the judgment says release him, you expect the government to obey it?
This is a very difficult question for me to answer.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Because when you look at the body language, the actions, the inactions of people who are in charge of Nigeria in the last few years, I don't think I can say yes.
No,
Yes.
no, if the Supreme Court returns a verdict of release him.
When you look at the events, the scenario, the everything around Kanu, the government of Nigeria doesn't treat it as an ordinary case.
Yeah, but
you will see, I'm coming, you will see this issue of, we are fixated with this idea, national security, when we have, other things in mind to do. You see, the courts have helped Nigeria. The Kanu case is a very complicated case, and the best way out is not what the government is doing, as far as I'm concerned. The best way out is the political solution.
Yeah, political solution.
Nigeria needs healing. Nigerians are not happy. Go to Igbo land.
Because Nigeria is hurting.
Go to Igbo land. Kanu is an ordinary guy, but today is an extraordinary guy in the psyche of many people. You get my point? The court is helping Nigeria, but Nigeria is not helping itself. Release him, do this. You can say, you just don't want to save your face. Fine, the court has helped you to do that. There are many eminent Nigerians from that part of the country, Igbo land, who have decided to say, I can guarantee this, I can do this, I can do that, Kanu will be this and no. Settle this matter before the next election. We don't need a situation whereby,
heating up the situation.
We keep committing more errors upon errors. These are enforced errors, but we love them. That's the actions of those in government. That's what I see. This latest judgment, there is no need for anybody to go to any court any longer. Just
no, except that Kanu is going to the Supreme Court.
When you stay execution,
yeah.
When you try to, stop me from benefiting from the, fruits of the court victory, I have to go to court. That I am entitled to it.
Yeah.
You get my point? Look, if you look at the way it was brought into the country, believe me, we are in a democracy. This is not in the era of military rule that anything can be done anyhow.
Ibn Adekunle just talked about a political solution. Unfortunately, one gentleman, he just passed, First Republic Aviation Minister Mbazulike Amechi, led a delegation to meet Mr. President not too long ago. And Mr. President said, the case is in court. Let the court handle it. So try the question I posed to my brother. If the apex court says, release Kanu, let him go home, do you see the political solution coming?
What I would say, I'm going to answer your question like this.
You want to play safe?
It's not about playing safe. It's about being realistic. See,
okay.
The government should, act in a way that people who are watching would respect our laws.
Okay.
If our leaders would easily kick against the law or the verdict of a court of law, then what do you think is going to happen to a common citizen? Now, what I want to say is that we need to remove personal biases from this situation. Let us work with what is lawful. If the apex court says, discharge and acquit, it should be.
So be it, yeah.
So be it. Anything contrary to that is an embarrassment to Nigeria. Yeah. Not even just to our leaders, but an embarrassment to the totality of Nigeria, which we do not want.
So essentially, you underscore the political solution because the country is hurting from all sides, So we need a national healing.
Every Monday, throughout Igbo land,
no market.
A vibrant section of Nigeria is
shuts down.
And we have a government in Nigeria, and you are not concerned at a time when the economy is already almost dead. We need this. That's not what we need. We need national healing. We need national integration. If we share the belief, as I do, that this country belongs to all of us, and that nobody is bigger than anybody.
Yeah.
The Igbo land, that section of Nigeria needs to be properly integrated. And whatever the offenses of Nnamdi Kanu can be handled in political discussions, political engagement, political solutions, not the court. I'm too sure not the court.
Let's not keep Ibrahim from Kaduna waiting. Ibrahim, good evening to you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. And good evening to your guests.
Lift up your voice. Raise your voice a little.
Yes. All right. I said this topic is quite interesting. This is Ibrahim from Kaduna. This topic is interesting.
Go on.
To look into this matter very well. It's like some people is speaking from both mouths, and that is why this case of that is why it's kind of Nnamdi Kanu is keep on lingering. Please, like what the woman first said in her first presentation is that the government will take this matter very, very critical and not to make any mistake. I stand by her. So the only way to go. Someone has approved before and John bail. Today he's come back to say that this and yes. But we should look at so that other people will learn from it. Nigeria will survive and will succeed. Thank you very much for my call back.
Many thanks too. Yeah, so put simply, now that he is approaching the apex court, the country is holding its breath. So if the verdict comes, I hope we are not kept waiting for another cycle, if the verdict says, turn the guy loose, let him go, you expect the government to do so. Now you can answer directly.
No, from what I've seen so far since it was brought back to Nigeria, I think some other issues will also play up.
Okay.
You get my point? You see, Kanu matter is very, very simple. but we made it complex and and we complicated it. Nigeria. You get my point?
We must thank the judiciary in Nigeria. It has come like a Daniel, has come to judgment a number of times. So I don't see a judgment in the case of Kanu as being different.
Of course, you see, the judiciary is not like you and I. You brought a case to me, you said this man is this, is this, is this. You have to prove it. National security, threat, terrorism, all this. You just have to prove it. Allegations remain allegations. You must prove before the court will decide. And so far, what has been proved? If the prosecutors have been able to prove anything, the courts would have sentenced Kanu a long time ago.
All right. Let's go to another topic, but just not before I had said this. Ibn Abo, you agree that laws were made for man, not man for laws. So we expect Kanu to have a favorable verdict at the Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
All right, we look up to it. Again, let the debate continue. To our next story, call him a gadfly who annoys you in order to provoke you into action, or regard him as a necessary irritant. But Governor Nyesom Wike is a man you cannot ignore. The Rivers State strongman has increased the number of his newly appointed special assistants on political affairs to 200,000. Yes, 200,000. He inaugurated the last batch of 100,000 appointees at the Adokie Amasiemaka Stadium, Port Harcourt, on Friday. According to our man, he decided to increase the number to accommodate more people who had shown willingness to work for him. The late Greek philosopher Adekunle Plato, he said, one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. You agree with him?
I do.
By the way, Rivers State is Ibn Abo State.
You see, when I see news, emanating from Rivers lately, sometimes I feel very sad. And I don't want to be using unprintable names. We are at a time the economy is hemorrhaging. At a time, we need true leaders, visionary leaders. Who do we have? Jesters.
You call them jesters?
That's the way I look at them. Every angle of not just Wike. Or what do you tell me? You want to hold a political meeting? Nigerian leaders, they have to rush to France, rush to Canada or London.
They don't go to Akwa Ibom.
Are there no places in Nigeria where you can hold meetings, or they want to rest? They rush to Dubai, they rush to everywhere. These are
say those places, no be people repair them.
And when you go with retinue off, and you see Nigerian governors. And when I look at
state money,
of course,
foreign currency.
Yes,
currency.
And you won't believe it. They will be entitled to what they call Estaco for meaningless jamborees. And you wonder.
But this one this one is in Port Harcourt, Adekunle. Don't take us to Dubai.
I know. I know. It's part of it.
Okay.
Because the man we are talking about, it's like a leader in this, what I don't want to call, You see, what do you need 200,000 aides for?
He said these are men who are ready to work with him.
Okay, if he owns a company, as a sane Nigerian, you own a company and you see 200,000 people who are ready to work for you. Are you saying you will engage them without? Please, we need to make some. Nigerians are not mumu now. We are rationally minded, people. What's the meaning of 200,000? It's not the only one. There are some governors in the north, you will say 2,000, 5,000, 6,000. Fine. But we need to ask ourselves, when it is time to pay teachers, they will complain.
But again,
when it is time to pay workers, they will complain.
Also note,
all those,
these 200,000 are engaged ahead of 2023.
Well, that is at a time you have about 6 months or thereabout to leave office. So what work would they want to do for you other than to do maybe meaningless political maneuverings and intrigues and all the dirty things? From the state money, if it's your money, I don't care. You can hire the entire, Nigerians. I won't begrudge you. But this is public fund. We need to query our leaders, the way they are behaving, the way they are running affairs in Nigeria. No country will ever prosper in this time.
All right, let me talk to Ibenabo, who is a River State woman. Ibenabo,
maybe she's one of the appointees. Ask her
maybe
first.
not. Maybe not. If she was, she wouldn't be here. Ibenabo, do you consider your governor as a gadfly, a showman, or he wants to be noticed?
I would say you would almost fit into one or two of them, of what you have mentioned. But you see, in all of this, what caught my attention was the fact that he said it was part of his promise to take care of stomach infrastructure, which for me is quite derogatory. Such a statement to me is derogatory. If you use words like, you see, we have to be careful of the usage of words. If you use words like poverty alleviation, it has a bit of dignity in it.
Yeah.
But when you talk about you are doing this to answer to or to speak to stomach infrastructure, I mean, it is quite derogatory. You understand? And like Adekunle said, you have just about 6 months to the end of your tenure. So I don't know what he said, and I particularly paid attention to the job description. I said they should, give him feedbacks on on people's opinion of his tenure.
Yeah.
What difference would that make at this time?
Okay. All right. We have been talking about money. Let's make some money. We go on a commercial break. We'll be back shortly. Please don't go away.
It's a new dawn for Nigeria. Oh, better days are coming. Better days that gives us hope and strength. All Latino boys determined to keep this hope alive. Bring the smiles back to all Nigerians.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria. Renewed hope beckons on our people. The silver lining dots the skies. The firmament portends a bright future as the people of Nigeria move to vote a man whom they have come to trust for the realization of their aspirations for a better Nigeria. That man is Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. He has been tested. He can be trusted. Vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria 2023. Vote Kashim Shettima as Vice President. Vote APC. Surely with Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the smiles are returning. We are close to home.
Bring the smiles back to all Nigerians.
Good afternoon, sir. Please, I need a room to rent in your house.
Okay, where do you work?
I'm a nurse.
That means you won't owe me rent. Congratulations, young lady. You have yourself a house.
Well, thank you so much, sir. So, how much is the rent?
90,000 naira. Oh, but wait, where are you from?
I am from Akamata.
Akamata what? Akamata in my house? If you know how you got into my house, please get out right away. My spirit and that of Akamata people don't have anything to do together.
Sir, what have I done?
Your people from Akamata are known for bad things. That is what they represent, and you can't live in my house. Just get out right away.
What's going on?
Leave my house, young lady. Yes, our differences extend to our languages, culture, food, and even belief. But we are bound together by the cord of love. With one heart, with one voice, we will make Nigeria a hub of greatness, a place where the people live as one.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
These are sections of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kanu highway. This is a 375-kilometer highway. It is the largest project this government is currently undertaking in costs. It is about 700 plus billion naira. And in terms of scope of works, it is 375 kilometers, let me repeat that, of dual carriageway covering 41 bridges of different sizes. Kaduna to Zaria, about 70-something kilometers. Many sections of that have been completed also. The Kaduna to Abuja is the longest part, the busiest part, and the most difficult.
This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
All right, welcome back. Don't forget, we're still in Rivers State, where the governor has appointed 100,000 more special assistants to bring the figure up to 200. Yes, Ibn Abo, 200,000 special assistants, too much, too little?
It doesn't make any sense. More so at this time, 6 months to the end of his tenure. What he should have done at this time is because he said he wants to be remembered as a great governor. What he should do now is to create jobs. Jobs that even when he is long gone will be there for this youth. Not this temporary stuff that is going about with. I mean, I don't see, it doesn't, it's not adding up.
Ibn Abo, you speak as though any of the 200,000 has rejected the job.
They won't reject because, I mean, we all understand the situation of the country.
Okay.
I'm from there, I know what it is. Talk about the floods.
You are not one of them.
Of course, I'm here.
No, this is political appointment we are talking about, not civil service jobs.
I know.
And you know what that means in terms of remuneration. Maybe special assistance.
Because they won't be on national minimum wage.
That's what we are talking about. So,
and they won't be owed.
And don't forget the cars that come, you know what I'm saying? The pegs.
Fueled by the state.
The pegs of office. So, who is that Nigerian that will turn down such kind of opportunity?
the question is.
So we are seeing this is insane at a time the Nigerian economy is down. Now we should be rediscussing.
But let's break it down.
We should be rediscussing the cost of governance in Nigeria.
Some states can weather it. Ibn Abo, you understand?
Kano,
Lagos, Port Harcourt.
Okay, why has the Lagos state government not employed 1 million essays, 1 million commissioners because it can weather it? It's about governance. You use your brain. The cost of governance in Nigeria is insane. And we should rediscuss it, not worsen it. What is happening in Rivers State should go into the Guinness Book of Record as one of the worst things to have happened to our country.
Wow.
So another thing I'm looking at is, okay, what's going to happen to this 200,000?
After Wike is gone?
Exactly, because I don't think
it will enter their CV.
That they were once...
Essays.
So
Essays to governor.
That is, okay, value added, blah, blah, blah.
All right, a call has come from my state. Will you? Etienne is waiting. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Citizen Jones.
Yeah, I greet you.
Yes, my regards to your analyst in the studio.
Yeah,
good evening, sir.
Yes, I want to talk on the issue of Wike's increment of his political assistants and so on and so forth. You see, a lot of people might not accept what he's doing. But personally, because I am on the street, I know what it means to survive. One of your analysts has said that this would have been nice if it were to be a job, a government job. Well, he didn't think that way. But at least it helps to checkmate a lot of issues in Rivers State. So far, we've not had any, since Wike came into power, we've not had any political uproar. We've not had any issue in the state, in Rivers State. So I think somehow this is a sense of trying to carry people along that is helping that to be, yes. Imagine that in our state, something like that has happened. I mean, it is. Although I don't know how much you guys are being paid.
Do you have any such appointments in Akwa Ibom?
No, we don't. We don't have in our side in Akwa Ibom. We don't. Our leaders they don't think of the citizens. They think of themselves. Yes, they don't think of the citizens. They think of themselves.
Thank you very kindly. Thank you for your intervention.
I'm sorry, I disagree with his line of thinking.
But don't go to court, yeah.
No, I won't go to court, but I disagree with his line of thinking.
Okay.
Believe me, if you want to help the citizens, that's not the approach. 200,000 in the states of millions. You get my point? About
but
public money.
But
what the
200,000, and look at, imagine 200,000 dependents.
Dependents.
Yeah.
So that's how to run a state?
Are we talking about running a state now, or about the appointments?
By the time you calculate what goes into the hands of these few, and try to extrapolate what's the percentage compared to the entire citizens, you realize that you may have committed, economic,
all right.
Suicide.
What the man from Uyo has told you is nobody's complaining there. But you remember the author of Animal Farm, George Orwell. He said, if people every 4 years they keep electing those who torture them, you can't refer to those people as sufferers. They are part of the problem.
You see, let me tell you one thing about Rivers State.
Okay.
The opinion majority of Nigerians have of Wike is not same as the opinion people of Rivers have of him.
Okay.
In Rivers State, Wike is viewed as a man of the people. So, on that, creating 200,000 jobs for you are the ones interpreting it, whichever way. To them, he has created 200,000 jobs for the youth, and it is evenly spread across all the wards. So the way it is, there is hardly, because in Rivers State you have compounds, there's hardly a compound that you will not get maybe 1 or 2 young person engaged.
It is not impossible any of your relatives might be there. It's possible.
So, for my own concern is sustainability.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens?
How do you sustain that? Up in 6 or 7 months' time, they are gone.
So it is a matter of have a little taste, and that is why that is dangerous, because a man you gave a job for 6 months and you pay him handsomely, if he loses that job suddenly, there's going to be a huge problem.
If he stops getting that largesse,
there's going to be a problem. So that is my worry. Otherwise, honestly, in Rivers State, the mindset of River citizens are quite different from the way we view Wike outside of Rivers State.
All right.
So your opinion is like strange to them. But what beyond the 6 months, what's going to happen to them?
Adequately, just know that the man has given livelihood to 200,000 Rivers folks.
Yes, he has done what he called it, stomach infrastructure.
Or something. That's
what he called it, stomach infrastructure.
Yes, that's what he called it.
All right, then. Let's go to our last story. Now, the Anti-Graft Agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says 3 state governors are under its prying eyes over moves to launder cash through the payment of salary to workers. Before you lose your mind, be informed that the EFCC chairman, Abdul Rashid Bawa, revealed that 2 of the 3 state chief executives are from the north, while the 3rd is a southern helmsman. Bawa informs that credible intelligence gathered by his commission indicates that hard cash is stashed in various houses, and the rest are attempting to pay monthly salary in cash. But elsewhere, Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State has described the proposed CBN plan to redesign the national currency as a political gambit. He specifically mentioned the APC-led government as the arrowhead of the exercise, and he says it's aimed at swaying voters in the forthcoming elections. You agree with that?
Well, that's Obaseki's opinion, but more about the
first part of the story.
Utterances from the EFCC boss. You say, yep, according to him, credible intelligence about certain governors who want to do this or that. I think you should have kept that to yourself, or you you move into action. I just want to see the results, not telling us that.
Are you taking into account the immunity clause?
No, the immunity clause. You said so governor wants to Nobody's saying you should arrest the governors.
Okay, but you can make moves to.
You said the catched so. Why can't you go there? Are you saying those cats, enjoy immunity clause as well? You get my point? With your so-called credible intel, you cannot act. You don't need to tell me as a credible, anti-graft organization. That's not the best way to run it.
Yeah.
Take action. The one you are not going to take action, watch, then you swing into action.
Yeah.
Don't tell me so is 2 in the north, 4 in the... No, that's not what I need. I need you to work, because that's why you are being paid. Yeah. They have cash stashed in so they now... and you are in fact, it's so good for you, that they want to be paying salaries in cash. You get me? These are opportunities for you.
Are you suggesting he should have gone one step further to name them?
Not just name them. Go to those places where the money is stashed.
Okay, act.
And because the Constitution does not give any immunity on such cases, you are not arresting the governor. Nobody can arrest any governor or deputy governor. You get my point? But if a governor stashes some money billions or trillions of money anywhere, you have the power to go there.
Arrest the cash.
Arrest the cash. And make noise about it, then let him discuss. Where did you get it?
Yeah.
You've committed no law, no fraud.
So many Nigerians think we back too much, we don't bite.
It's obvious.
Really?
It is obvious. Because like Adekunle said, if you are sure that you have all of this information,
go the whole hog.
Why tell us? We should be hearing that, okay, you have taken action and this is what is going on.
So we have seized X.
You understand?
Yeah.
That is the information we crave, not you coming to tell us, I know that Adekunle has done this. What do I know? I don't have facts. Because if you do, you would swing into action.
Go the whole hog.
So it's sometimes,
But are you in any way likely to link this development to the change in redesigning the Naira?
It's obvious.
That's what he said.
It's obvious. That is what he said.
He linked this idea.
There's a mad rush to dispose of all of this.
Have you seen some viral videos?
Yes.
Where mutilated Naira notes are unearthed?
I saw one and I couldn't just believe my eyes.
Come on, but does any of you remember that the first time, when President Buhari first came as a head of state in 1984?
Yes.
Remember the 53 suitcases?
Yes.
Came as a result of changing the colors of the Naira notes. So we are back there.
I mean, we have not changed our color. We are still, our skin is still there.
To me, are we back there? I don't think so. That time it was swift, and you caught people unawares. This time around, you had to announce weeks and months ahead. You give people the room. I mean, all these criminals, some of them we call leaders. You get my point?
But there's no way you could have altered the Naira without causing a schism.
Causing it. As when it was done that time, you cannot do the same now, Abi. But what would be the benefit now when you are...
Yusuf, sorry, Taiwo is joining us from London. Taiwo, good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Well done for the good job.
How are you?
Mr. Adekunle and Auntie.
Good
I'm
evening.
fine, thank you, sir. I'd like to comment on Mr. Wike employing 200,000 people.
Yeah.
My question to him is, are all the companies in that state working optimally? I would have expected him, the money he wants to pay to those people for just 6 months, if he had used that money to get all the derelict companies, hospitals, schools, all parastatals, if he had used that money to get them running, those 200,000 people, obviously when the new government comes in, they'll probably be out of jobs. But this parastatal that is going to rebuild, he should have placed those people there. That way they will have permanent jobs that will sustain their family for God knows how long. But this is just a short time, it's not even a solution, it's a problem. Because just like Mr. Adekunle said earlier on, or Auntie said earlier on, once those people lose this job, it's going to be a problem because they've tasted sweet living. So it's either they go into...
But thank you. Gentlemen and lady, I'm reminded in this connection of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. You remember law number 1? Oga na oga. No measure body with them.
Yes, but in...
you know law number 2?
I know that...
If you are in doubt,
go back to number one. Law number 1. But this is democracy.
Okay.
So whatever Wike does in Rivers State, it is within our purview to interrogate.
Wike is a lawyer.
Because,
Wike is a lawyer.
No, Wike is using the public fund, and the public have a right to discuss it. Yes. Whether they like it or not, they have a right
all right.
to say something about it.
I only teased you. Let's talk about the EFCC. What's on the card now? So new currencies are going to come, and so the old ones are being messed around and thrown around. Let's consider what the Edo State governor is saying. The APC is throwing this as something to sway the people ahead of 2023.
But I don't want to agree with him, because if you look at the currency, we're supposed to change the face of the currency every 8 years. This was done.
So it is not wrong to change the...
Exactly.
The American dollar has been changed.
So, he has his own opinion and he has his reason for having such an opinion. But, for me, if you don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, why bother? Only the guilty should be afraid at this time. Because we're already running a partial cashless economy. You have your card, your debit card, you go to the ATM machine, all of all that. So it's not as if, ordinarily, the ordinary man does not have all of this bulk, money kept somewhere underneath the ground or somewhere in his wardrobe or something like that. So if you are guilty, then you should come out and say that.
Of course, I can't forget that Abdul Rashid Bawa is saying 2 governors in the north, 1 in the south, have been fingered as planning to do Rohi, as they say.
To me, if I'm going to analyze, a textual analysis or discourse analysis of that, you're only helping these so-called governors.
They are not so-called. They are elected.
So-called, because the way you put them...
Okay, you mean the governor's finger. Okay.
You are just, I know you are doing this, so you are indirectly telling them to clean up their mess. That's not how to run an anti-graft agency. That's the point I was trying to make.
Okay, so you'd rather caught them in the act.
We need his actions, not his utterances.
Yeah.
You get my point? The same EFCC, we had elections recently. You see EFCC going to arrest, and they were arresting ordinary folks, those hungry, poor guys who collect money to vote. When the big parties were doing their presidential primaries, they were carrying dollars in bags and everything. Was EFCC dead at that time? We need EFCC that can act, not talk.
I think EFCC it depends on the boss now. Maybe they have different colors. In the days of Mago, they would go, effect an arrest, go to court. Then the judge will strike out the case. Mess everything up because of the lack of
diligence.
You understand? So I think they should.
But makes you want to clamor for a Nuhu Ribadu?
Because, I mean, at least in his time, we saw, I mean, there were actions and people were punished.
Sorry, Ibianabo, we have the last but not the least caller. Emmanuel is reaching us from Warri. Emmanuel, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
All right, go on.
I enjoy your program.
Thank you, sir.
We remember that. Thank you.
Wike just done. People don't understand the man. He just buy 200 votes. Because those votes we vote, those people we vote for him, we vote for PDP candidate in Rivers State. So he just bought the vote.
Did you say 200? 200,000.
That is just how I look at it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well.
And that's another dimension, which to me is valid. And in leadership, you should be thinking beyond now, because it's about the people.
Let's take this EFCC story to a logical conclusion. So how do you take it home now? From the top. Yeah.
The EFCC man to rejig the operations of EFCC. We haven't seen actions. We have been seeing utterances. Sometimes that make me to wonder that, it's not about age. When we talk about leadership, you have a young man, vibrant, educated, experienced. But the way you are running the EFCC, I haven't seen the Nuru Ribadu era of action-packed leadership. You get my point?
The palpable tension.
That is it. And the EFCC of Nuru Ribadu, we haven't seen anybody replicate something similar.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm sorry.
Adekunle, the late British Prime Minister, the Iron Lady, said, if you want anything said, ask a man. If you want anything done, ask a woman. So, do we need a woman at the EFCC?
We've had a woman here before.
We've had a woman before.
Okay.
We have had
Waziri.
Yes. Yeah. And what was her tenure? So it's not about gender. It's not about the gender.
If we are going to bring her, to suppose her tenure to these ones we are having, I think she did better.
But this one is still young on the throne anyway. He's still young in office. He still has time to do better.
But what you said is very key. Act. Give us a lot less of this theatrics.
We don't want his utterances anymore. We want his actions.
Ibn quickly, how do you bury it?
We want action. We are tired of talk, and talk. Begin to act. And act with facts. Because you cannot bring your facts to the media. Take your facts to the courts.
Yeah.
That is it.
All right. We must go. That's what the backroom boys are telling me. So let the debate continue. But don't forget, EFCC, we think you can do more than you're doing. All right. Many thanks to Adekunle Yusuf for coming. Ibn Abo Dixon, many thanks for your time. We're still watching your governor in the coming weeks. Okay, that's it on the program. But if you missed any part of this, join us at 11 tonight for our late edition. And don't skip the Sunday portion of the program. It's a 2-hour stretch for you from 1:30. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now.
We love fried food, seasoned fried fish, French fries, but cooking fried food sometimes feels like going to war. Different cooking pans, hot oil spills, lots and lots of oil, meaning added calories, and cleaning is a disaster. Scraping, what a chore, but not anymore. Introducing the new ShopX Power Air Fryer with one-touch technology. The Power Air Fryer fries with superheated cyclonic air. With little to no oil and up to 80% less fat, it does the job of your grill, oven,